Subtraction through addition. So right now, whatever you do, please do not think about a pink elephant. You got it? We really, really, really do not want to think about pink elephants or elephants of any color. Yep, those elephants are things we most certainly don't want to be thinking about right now. So look, what's on your mind right now? Fucking pink elephants. And the whole point of this is to leave this shit behind. It's like, you know, leaving trash at a curb. And you know, I know dudes that have given up hard drugs and stuff and found God years ago, but they continuously post stuff about staying clean and sober all the time on the socials, and that's all good and all, but why can't they just post regular human stuff like, here's me and my homies playing golf, or we sure had a good time on this camping trip? Kind of seems like they're all just still a bit just tortured, and it's for this reason that I never went to an AA meeting, and I've always believed that the whole point is to not be an alcoholic. If I want to stand up in front of a group of people, I'd rather announce that I'm a runner, I'm an author, I'm a content creator, I'm a day trader, I'm a good husband. Hello, my name is Scott, and I'm a washed up rock and roll guitarist. Is the most negative thing I'd ever want to say to a crowd of people. No thanks. But I don't want to say those other words out loud ever, when I can say words that are 1,000 times more empowering. If I ever was an alcoholic, I sure as shit am not one now, so why would I ever want to stand up in front of a group of people and say that over and over again every week? Please, please, please don't think I'm shitting on AA for 1 second. When dropping the drink was on my mind, I Googled where I could find some meetings, and there was actually one within walking distance of my house. So I kind of had AA on my mind as a kind of plan B at one point in my life. Oddly enough, the liquor store was also within walking distance of my house, and it was also on my running route. You'd think that maybe I'd flick at the bird as I ran past it, kicking all that ass as a runner and showing alcohol who's the boss. But really, in the end, it was just another building like the subway next door to it. Of course, if there was an employee inside, they'd be like, what the fuck did I do? But seriously, giving alcohol zero energy worked out for the best. You attract what you want the most, but you also attract what you don't want the most. If I'm giving letting go of drinking, drugs, and cigarettes that fuck you, I'm beating you type of energy, I'm just deluding myself because it still has a hold over me. If I'm still dwelling on it in any way, shape, or form, it's still winning. By hating something, we're still breathing life into it. I mean, millions and millions of people hate Donald Trump, but he just won't go away because the people that can't stand him talk about him more than the people who actually support him. It's kind of like getting over a girl. Have you finally stopped thinking about that girl who stomped all over your heart? And then she shows back up into your life and you're like, what the hell did I ever see in her? You don't hate her and you're not in love with her either. You're just indifferent now. And if you're super cool, you just wish her well. It's all about attention. What you focus on grows. What you take your attention away from dies. If you ignore your relationship with anyone or anything, whether it's your wife, your distant cousin, or your old college roommate, or activities like collecting baseball cards, Barbie dolls, Beanie Babies, Cabbage Patch Kids, or of course drugs, alcohol, and cigarettes, eventually that relationship will reach a point of no return. Think about the people you used to be bosom buddies with, way back in the day. Whatever happened to old so-and-so? You might not have even had a falling out with them. You just sort of drifted apart is all. You were together for a reason or a season, and your attention went towards other people, other interests, involving other people. And that's all. Once you wrap your head around this, it'll change your life. Where your attention goes applies to everything. Now you're in the present and aware. You can take charge of where your attention goes as opposed to just floating down the river without any kind of rudder. Ask me about guns, for example. I bet that one woke you up. I've already mentioned Donald Trump. You can unclench those sphincters now. All right, so Scott, how do you feel about guns? For me, I don't think about guns. I neither love them nor do I hate them. The fact of the matter is they just don't fucking interest me is all. I've shot plenty of them and all they seem to do is blow holes in shit. Now going to see Eddie Van Halen's original Frankenstrat and Jimmy Page's 59 Les Paul, which Joe Walsh sold to him by the way, or Paul McCartney's and Flea's basses on display at the Met in New York City, that fascinates the ever-living shit out of me. Visiting Frank Lloyd Wright's masterpieces, Falling Water and Taliesin West, are of also interest to me. If Tony Hawk or Shaun White showed up to skate this half pipe here, that would interest the shit out of me. For me, my gun is just another tool like a sledgehammer. I've got a sledgehammer and sometimes I need to use it, but not every day. Where are guns in my circles of control, influence, and concern? I'm just not concerned about them. I don't have any kids, so I don't have to worry about any of them taking them to school. I've got control over it. Of course, I have opinions and ideas. Chris Rock said that you can have all the guns you want, but every bullet should cost $5,000. Chris Rock for president, whatever. You're a bright cat. And now, knowing the difference and degree of control over the things you can actually do something about is going to be a massive eye-opener for you. It'll help you to prevent lost time and save relationships, like when your closest people want to argue about shit that neither of you has an ounce of influence over. So you might have picked up on the fact that not once have I talked about quitting drugs, alcohol, and cigarettes, etc. I do talk about letting stuff go, and the good news is that we've been letting stuff go our whole lives. Quitting just sounds like a lot of work, don't you think? Did you quit collecting baseball cards and comics? Did you quit skateboarding? Did you quit watching Thundercats, Transformers, and G.I. Joe? We just moved on from cartoons to kick-ass movies and TV shows like Pulp Fiction and Sopranos and the Game of Thrones. We just moved on to cooler new stuff is all. Let's just take control of that rather than drift from one thing to the next. And I say getting ripped is your best option with moving on. Leaving that shit behind you and restoring your health, renewing your self-esteem, and of course broadening your circle of control and ultimately your circle of influence. The booze, drugs, and cigarettes and so on will fall to the wayside naturally, just like Sesame Street and Dukes of Hazzard faded away. So let's say that you were in my coaching program. I'd have you on a regimen or a split. I'd also have you on a kick-ass food plan, getting you melting your fat and building muscle. I can track your progress with my app, and we have weekly Zoom meetings, office hours for one-on-one, along with a kick-ass community for support and friendship. So just stay with me here. I'm not trying to sell you anything. My point is that the way we do things is, did you get all the good shit integrated into your day? That's it, simple. If you managed to integrate your workouts or running along with some meditation and reading and reflection, and you took care of all your familial and professional responsibilities as a husband, father, employee, and employer, and you had some cigarettes and a couple beers, you won't hear jack shit from me. I've seen a few guys smoking cigarettes outside the gym, oddly enough, and you don't see them for very long because you can only walk two paths for so long, you know? Something's got to give. Now, I think it's safe to say that we have addictive personalities, right? So let's take this personality trait and flip it on its motherfucking head and make it our bitch. What we're going to do is turn that addictive personality into our motherfucking superpower. We're going to get addicted to success. We're going to get addicted to making those veins on our arms and our chest pop out like dick veins, man. Presence of veins is absence of fat. We're going to get addicted to stacking daily wins. We're going to get addicted to elevating our frequencies after killer runs and workouts. Knowing frequency stuff will change your life. We're going to get into that. I'm addicted to those love beams that come out of my wife's eyes, and they just don't hand those out, man. I'm so glad that my wife is proud of me, but I don't need her validation to know that I'm a good man, but I sure do like knowing that she bet on the right horse. I'm addicted to helping others. We're going to get addicted to having new abs now. We do some ab work every day. Just a little is all we need, baby. We're going to get addicted to running 5Ks, 10Ks, fucking marathons, man. You don't know high, brother, till you come out the other end of one of those runs. Now, look, these communities with runners and CrossFitters and just regular folks at the gym, they're terrific people. And at the gym, you'll notice that virtually nobody even likes the lockers. It's because you're among good people. You can make new lifelong friends. They're all there. They're just like you. They're trying to improve themselves. And your friendships are developed for reasons and seasons. And you'll see some buff dudes there, no doubt. But for most part, everyone's the same as you, man. They're just trying to get on the path and improve themselves. And besides, intimidation, that's a myth anyway. Those buff dudes are usually the nicest and most knowledgeable folks in the building. So I believe that we can do anything we want. We cannot do everything we want. And I want you to forget booze, drugs, and cigarettes and all that shit and just put it on the back burner for a minute. Make up your mind to get ripped first, right here and now. Don't dick around and tell yourself you'll watch the video to the end and maybe you'll come back around and watch it a second time and pick out the parts you like and ignore the parts you don't. I know you. Remember, we're cut from the same cloth. Decide right now. Say it out loud. I'm getting ripped. Say it. I'm getting ripped. Awesome. At first, you'll be adding some significant things in your life, but it's at first. It's going to be difficult to maintain doing all the good shit and still doing all the bad shit too. What will happen is integration. Out of the good stuff you're adding into your life, you'll stay consistent with, say, 80% of it at first. If you keep doing the 80% and new stuff like working out, running, meditation, eating clean, and sleeping well, what's going to happen to your bad stuff like drinking and smoking and staying up all hours of the night with nothing to show for it? The bad stuff is naturally going to decrease. There's only so many hours in the day. By adding getting ripped into your life, that's the kind of shift, like moving on from those shitty piano lessons that you hated because your mom made you take them to getting your first electric guitar. It's the kind of music that you want to do on your terms now because you're interested in it. You can see the possibilities of expressing yourself or impressing chicks. You dig? So it'll bring you joy and growth. There's nothing to fight or quit. You're just starting a new thing is all. No pressure. Keep it simple. The first thing you have to master is getting up early every day. Start there. Everything else just starts falling into place when you consistently get up early. I'm talking 4 a.m., 5 at the latest. So we are naturally subtracting old stuff by adding new stuff. I'm constantly preaching this integration, not addition. You can't do it all. Something will have to give. It will all be natural. Building a new character for you to step into will be your new high. In the next video, I'm going to give you all the tactical stuff on how to pull this off. No worries. And by the way, give yourself a fucking break so you can feel the joy and the freedom to know your possibilities. You got a lot of stuff going on for you. I'm not talking about kumbaya, fluffy, feel-good talk here. You're here, aren't you? You decide to do something, haven't you? And as a person with an addictive personality, you can go whole hog into getting ripped, running circles around the average Joe who's dabbling with fitness. If you've had issues with drinking and drugs and so forth, I bet $1 that you're highly creative. How do I know? Takes one to know one. For a while there, for every beer my wife saw me drink, there were 2 airplane bottles she didn't see me drink. You might have grown pot or sold drugs. All this stuff is misapplied creativity and entrepreneurialism. So let's correctly apply this commitment and creativity in areas that will actually serve you, but ultimately enable you to serve others. Now we're talking. You want to be an asset to your people, never a liability. Remember, 50 Cent was once a drug dealer. He made good money doing that, but he was in constant danger from other drug dealers and the law. Also remember, he got shot 9 times. He was always committed to getting ripped, but he blew up when all of his actions were properly aligned with the outcome he desired. He walked 2 paths just long enough to almost get his ass killed. But then he decided to get rich or die trying, and the rest is history, right? So alignment, your actions must be correctly aligned with the outcome you desire. 50 Cent could have been the best drug dealer in Queens or the best rapper in the world. He couldn't be both. He had to pick one. And so we can do anything we want, we cannot do everything we want. Remember, the man who chases 2 rabbits catches none. We can be ripped or we can live that lush life. We cannot do both at the same time. One will win out over the other. So all right, in the next video, we're going to put it all together and get tactical. Just how the hell are we going to pull all this off? Well, see you in the next video.